Chapter 2. The Carpet Bag. I stuffed a shirt or two into my carpet bag, tucked it under my arm, and started for Cape Horn in the Pacific. Quitting the good old city of Manhattan, I duly arrived in New Bedford. It was on a Saturday night in December. Much was I disappointed. Pondering the little packet for Nantucket had already sailed, and there was no way of reaching that place would offer till the following Monday. As most candidates for the pains and penalties of whaling shop at the same New Bedford fence to embark on their voyage, it may as well be related that I, for one, have no idea of my doing. For my mind was made up to sail in no other than the Nantucket craft, because there was a fine, boisterous something in everything that connected me with this famous old island, which amazingly pleased me. Besides, through New Bedford has a light been gradually monopolizing the business of whaling, and though this poor old Nantucket has now much behind her, yet Nantucket was her great ordeal, the tire of this garage, the place where the first dead American whale was stranded. Where else from Nantucket did the aboriginal whaleman, Red Man, first sally out in canoes to give chase to the leaving? And where but from Nantucket, too, the first adventures this little slope to fro, partly laden in imported cobblestones. So does a story to throw out the whales in order to discover that we're nigh enough to risk a harpoon from a bowsprit. From having a night, a day, and still another night falling before me in New Bedford, I could remark, but it became a matter of concernment where I was to eat and sleep meanwhile. It was a very dark and dismal night, bitingly cold and cheerless. I knew no one in the place. With the ancient grapnels I sent into my pocket, only brought a few pieces of silver. So wherever you go, Ishmael, I said to myself, as I stood in the middle of a dreary street, comparing the gloom towards the north, the darkness towards the south, wherever your wisdom may conclude to lodge the night, my dear Ishmael, don't be too particular. With halting, I passed the footsteps, the streets, and passed the sign of Craft Harpoons. But it looked too expensive and jolly there. Further on, from the bright red windows of Swordfish Inn, came from such fragrant rays that seemed to have melted, packed snow and ice before passing everywhere, congealed frost by inches, and a hard, aphelic pavement. Too expensive and jolly, again I thought, pausing one moment to watch the broad glare on the street, and hear the sounds of tinkling glasses within. But go on, Ishmael, said I at last. Get away before the door. Your patched boots are stopping the way. So on I went. Now followed the streets that took me waterward, for there, doubtless, was the cheapest, if not the cheeriest, inns. Such dreary streets, blocks of blackness-not houses, on either hand, and here and there a candle. At this hour of night, of the last of week, that quarter of the town proved but all deserted. But presently I came to a smoky light proceeding from a low, wide building, a door which stood invitingly open. It had a careless look, which meant for the uses of public, so entering, first that I did was stumble over the ash box in the porch. Ha, thought I. Huh. That the flying particles almost choked me from the destroyed city. Grimoire? The crossed harpoons and a swordfish, and this must needs be the sign of the trap. However, I picked myself up, hearing a loud voice within, pushed on, and hoped a second interior door. It seemed the Black Parliament sitting in the Tophet, 100 black faces turn around their rows to peer in beyond. A black angel's doom was beating a book in public. It was a Negro church, and the preachers test about the blackness of darkness and the weeping and wailing, teeth gnashing there. Huh, Ishmael, muttered I, backing out the wrenched entertainment at sign of the trap. Moving on, I at last came to a dim sort of light, heard a forlorn creaking of the air. Looking up, saw a swinging sign over the door with white painting upon it, faintly representing a tall, straight jet of misty spray. These words underneath: the Spouter Inn, Peter Coffin. Coffin? Spouter? Rather ominous in the particular connection, thought I. But it is a common name in Nantucket, they say. I suppose this Peter is an immigrant from there. As the light looked so dim, the place looked quiet enough. The dilapidated little house itself looked as if it might be been carted here from ruins of some burnt district. And as the swinging sign had a poverty-stricken sort of district, as the swinging sign had a poverty-stricken sort of grief to it, I thought it was a very spot for a cheap lodging and the best of pea coffee. It was a queer sort of place, the gable-ended open house, one side palsy, as it were, leaning over sadly, took on a sharp, bleak corner where the tempest wind of Iroquois kept up a worse howling than it ever before about poor Paul's tossed craft. Iroquois, nevertheless, it was a mighty pleasant safer to anyone indoors, feet to hop on, quietly toasting for bed. Let us scrape the ice from our frosted feet and see what sort of place this Spouter may be.